Okay, we back up. We back up. Cool. So that is good to go.
Good to go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Everyone say like beard cab. I just trimmed. I got my beard trimmed yesterday and a haircut, so I'm looking a little bit
looking dapper.
little bit cleaner today. You know. Also trying a new camera angle for the Top Clack show, so I figured I'd mix things up a little bit. You know. So let me know if you guys absolutely hate that or love it, whatever. Anyways, yes, as Huey said, welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. It's always a pleasure to have you here. We do not have a guest on today, so if that's all you're here for, I apologize. But we do have some pretty interesting news. You know, Rama's got some cool things going on. We'll get to that a little bit later. But how are you guys today, Huey? And also, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a new keycap set in today. I'll show it off in a second, probably after the intro. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just got home from work. Arizona this weekend, because there's like people live in Arizona for some reason, but they're like, hey, you should come over. We're gonna talk about keyboard stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm down. So I'll be packing and everything tonight because I'm leaving tomorrow. But yeah, LG, life's good. Not sponsored by LG. LG, please sponsor us. I'll say that every episode if you do.
Wow. Holy crap. That's awesome.
Okay.
Right. Why don't you show off that keycaps that you just got?
Yeah.
I don't think you didn't say what it was, so
yeah. It is the MT3 dev set. Actually, hold on. Actually, by the way, thanks Pudsey for the resub 4 months in a row.
Dang, yo, that's like the maximum amount of time, isn't it? 4 months, I think, is when we started.
Let me actually. I'm gonna fix. I mean, you guys will see the news viewer. I just want to fix something on the screen. I need to go to the news viewer to fix it. Just watch. You guys will be happy when I fix it. Paste. There, bam. You guys can see also. Thank you, the Bizzle King, for your sub. You guys now see your subs pop up on the screen.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. Oh my god. Oh, 5 months is the longest time.
5 months.
Okay. Nice. Cool. Thanks, guys.
I need to have it last longer. I think I have it fade after like 5 seconds. But yeah, thanks for that, guys. I guess we'll get to it with the intro or Reno.
Intro.
That's also the intro to the Seattle video I did. You punching the screen.
Oh yeah. That was pretty cool. The music on it was really on point in that video as well.
Thank you.
The song was legit.
So yeah, today is the 25th of January. Thank you, Captain Schwa, for month 5 as well. One of the OG sub crew right there.
This just must be the day where it like maybe automatically renews or something. Because to get like 3 or 4 already is pretty nuts. Anyways, yes, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
But now we must do 10 news.
On this week on keyboards news viewer, let's skip these discussion points. We'll talk about them with y'all in a bit. But let's talk about these GMK low-profile keycaps.
Yeah, Nani. So I literally just saw this like right before the show, and I hadn't seen it before. So a couple things that caught my eye here. Obviously, it's low profile. It is ABS, and it is done by GMK, which is, in my opinion, what made it interesting. Because, you know, other low-profile caps probably aren't nearly as interesting. But obviously, GMK we know and love. We use their products pretty much every day, and you know they have that legacy of quality.
So speaking of quality, I'm really hoping that there's going to be, you know, the most extreme, like $8,000 to $10,000 RGB gamer laptop with cherry low profile switches and GMK keycaps in a laptop. Can you imagine?
Ooh, I could,
for the sake of it. Not even if they did double shot, like proper ABS double shot, not POM double shot.
Imagine being the guy that rolls into like class or a meeting or whatever. You open up your laptop. You open up your laptop, you got KL low-profile box navies, or just KL low-profile navies, whatever they're called, with GMK low-profile caps. I would be feeling it.
Oh man.
Because I guess you can't do this keycap profile with the KL low-profile switches because it's a different mount. That's such a bummer, man. Because I'm assuming these are probably MX mount.
Yeah.
Which is definitely for the best, but that means you can't use them with the KL low-profile switches. But you can use them with the MX low-profile switches, which probably won't feel as good.
Maybe Cherry can change. You know, maybe they can improve their ability to care.
Yeah, God, I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, this is it though. This is a little teaser they have. We'll see where it takes us. There haven't been too many products out with any kind of low-profile mechanical switches. Too many. There's that one keyboard, that full-size keyboard, the KL low profiles, a few laptops here and there, but there hasn't been too much. I know there's the new plank with the low profile, but there hasn't been really that much things taking advantage of the low-profile switches.
No, especially the KL ones. Like honestly, like Novelkeys stocks them, but like there's no like real custom PCBs or ways to use them. I guess you can hand wire, but
yeah, you got it.
But still, it uses a proprietary mount for the keycap. So where do you even get those keycaps? Even if you do find them, it's not like you have options. It's like you have that one singular set.
Speaking of options, the KBDfans X DDMicro Bluetooth mechanical keyboard DIY kit. Go away, newsletter subscription thing on KBDfans.
Buzzword.
Bluetooth, steel plate, aluminum case, $109. In my opinion, this is like a straight just shot at the Vortex Core. Vortex Core, this is kind of better than you.
Yeah, it's better in literally every way, and it's programmable, and it has Bluetooth.
So I really want to.
And it has a way nicer case because it's also high profile.
I do want to point out on the package list, one thing they really wanted to make sure you knew is that it comes with rubber mats, capital MAT mats. Just that's the big thing about their package list, guys. There were mats.
We can't always make fun of the translation barrier here.
50% layout, RGB LEDs. They're gonna have their own key mapper software thing, CNC case. We've had our own issues with the 5-degree case and its style. It's probably gonna be the same, really soft aluminum, soft anodization.
It's a give and take. You're paying a very low price in comparison to other options.
Interesting layout. I don't. No, I couldn't use this layout because I need a full typing portion, and they're robbing me of my my question mark. But otherwise, this is decent.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. I think for the price, it looks very fine. So wait, does it have SMD RGB, or is it like an underglow kind of thing, or is it? I don't understand what they mean by RGB LED.
Well, it has RGB LED. Maybe is it even plural? Is it just a single one?
It is singular, but it's still translation. Nobody at KBDfans is really good at English.
That's very true.
Yeah, they actually told me that. They're like, yeah, none of us are very comfortable with English.
So
we're looking to hire an English speaker soon.
So there's one interesting thing. Unlike the AN Pro, which I believe only is Bluetooth mode and the cable's only for charging, this has a Bluetooth and wired mode. So for those who might just want the board and not care about getting their own battery to use for the Bluetooth, yeah,
that's good. It should always be like that. You shouldn't ever have to use it in Bluetooth. You should always have the option.
So I think that's. I mean, that does make sense. I mean, having to buy your own battery is the way they get around shipping this internationally, because there's a lot of annoying hiccups with shipping batteries around the world. Because who would have thought batteries can go wrong?
Yeah, sometimes they explode and stuff. What kind of batteries do you need for this? Does it even say? I can't find it.
I think I read somewhere. I think it was something. I don't know.
Something common, I hope.
I forgot. I read it somewhere. Someone said what it was, but I don't remember. What do you think of the layout, though?
It looks fine. I could probably use this. Not saying I necessarily want to, because I have no reason to use anything smaller than a 60%, but it looks usable.
I think the keycaps are just placeholders.
Oh, really? It doesn't come with XDA?
No. I mean the legend, because the current keycap set on it, because like the caps lock where enter is, they've both labeled shifts at the bottom. Like, if you're gonna do this, I don't think it'd be that much harder for them to like have properly labeled legends for.
That's true.
Right. But I do applaud them on one big thing. I do applaud them on having the correct spacing for the A and the Z. Even though they use, a smaller where tab would be, smaller where caps and shift would be, they still keep the same spacing.
Yeah, so there's not like a weird stagger.
It's not like when people use 2U stabs.
You mean 2U shift? Because all stabs, most stabs are 2U.
It's sure 2U, yeah. This is gonna be interesting. It's cheap. I think it's gonna be. You can get the transparent one too with the nice acrylic case.
Yeah, you can. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Seems like a really good value overall. Comes with a lot of stuff.
Yep. Speaking of something that is debatable on value, is the Rama M60-A HHKB preview. Rama has come up with quite a few designs in the past, and he is going to be coming out with an MX HHKB. Ooh, okay,
I'm gonna need you to take that value comment back, Huey, because I think this is more value than you might think.
Well, let me read out some of these specs. Brass weight, PVD coated Yates on the back, which looks really cool. You can always show it off. Okay, optional interior weight to make it even heavier. Okay, the felt, there's gonna be a felt lining for absorption of sounds. Custom feet, which are gonna be basically the same style as the M65. Will weigh 2.5 to 3 kilograms, which is just a number to me if someone wants to put that in English.
I'm pretty sure that's like actually kind of heavy.
It is kind of heavy. I think it's like 5 to 7. Integrated top plate into the top of the case. In-switch RGB LEDs, USB-C daughter board, and using KL hot sockets, so it's completely hot swappable. Yeah, that's a thing.
That weight conversion is 5.5 pounds to 6.6 pounds for us freedom fighters over here. Eating our freedom fries and fried chicken. I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually really hungry. Anyways, so coming late February / March, so pretty soon. That is pretty soon. Estimated price is $300 to $400 USD. I did talk to Rama a little bit right after this teaser kind of launched, and I had a couple like minor questions for him. I'm trying to go back and look at those right now, actually. But a couple things I asked him were like, where do you actually see the price? Like, because 300 to 400, yeah, it's kind of a gap. So I was like, is this really going to be more of like a $400 thing, or is it going to be more of like a $300 thing? And he seemed pretty confident that he could get it down between $320 and $350. And I said, that's pretty good. So obviously this does come with SMD RGB or whatever. I think he has it labeled here in-switch RGB LEDs.
In-switch. Yep.
I that might be wrong. I don't know. Because I think I asked him if it was SMD, and he said yes. Don't quote me on that. But
I mean, it's going to be Twitch clipped now and shared across the world. Sorry, go on.
Well, think about this though. It's supposed to be like a completely unsoldering kind of experience.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you do that with in-switch LEDs?
That's true. I don't know. You use switches with SMD housings. So and just have them really short.
Maybe actually, I'll have to see what he says about this, because that's kind of interesting. So there are 2 weights. It's got that interior felt lining, which is pretty cool. I usually like some kind of felt or silencing foam in my keyboards because it makes the sound a bit deeper and more premium. Lots of cool things going on here. What do you like? How do you feel about the design? Because this is pretty different.
I like it. I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, you're right. The design is different. It's very it definitely shows off his industrial design background. Those you might not know, his background is in industrial design, and this is kind of a really good showcasing of that. Center mounts, USB-C ports. That's awesome. With the logo right above the port. Me gusta. The design of the integrated plates, all milled out of the single piece of aluminum, as he would say.
Yeah, so it has that integrated plate, which is pretty cool.
Great. I really enjoy that on my stainless steel AEK 64, so I'm definitely always welcome to see that on more boards. Has he said what the angle is? No, he has not.
No, I did not ask. That'll be a follow-up question I'll have to ask, or maybe either he or Simdims is in the chat. Oh, Simdims is here, so she might be able to answer a couple questions, potentially like the angle.
I like the top bezel being thicker. It's a design I really like.
Okay.
That's why I kind of like the Real Force, the Normal Force. You know, they have that 5 head going on in terms of keyboards. Yeah, 8 degrees according to Simdims.
8 degrees, so pretty good. Still within that range of comfort, in my opinion. She does clarify that it is SMD, not in switch. So it's similar to the ZL60, which is also consistent with what Rama said. I just found it. I asked, is the M60 going to have SMD, RGB, and KL sockets? And he said, oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
So very, very cool stuff. So I really do think this is actually a pretty good value because look at what you get here. Assuming it's 350, which was the higher end of his estimate that he gave me. Obviously, it still says 400 here on the website, which, you know, we won't know until it happens. But assuming it's like 350, let's look at what you get here. You get the aluminum unibody. You get the bottom. You get 2 weights. You get felt lining. You get a PCB that supports SMD, RGB, as well as the KL hot swap sockets. And you get freaking, what is it?
I don't know if that price counts the interior weight because it says optional for that. So I don't know if that 300 to 400 will count for what says as optional. But it's still, even without that, you still have the weight on the back. You're right about that, and you're right about everything else. Hot swaps, yeah. SMDs.
I mean, look at the PCB alone. Like, if you want like a good SMD RGB PCB, how much are you spending? What do you buy? You buy a ZL60, right?
But see, that's the thing. Are they expensive? Or do we think they're expensive because only Zeal offers them, or is this because no one's really kind of hopped out there? Because
I think it's a little column A, little column B, honestly.
Because we don't have any like budget options for that kind of thing yet, so it is kind of hard to judge. We only know what the high end is.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, no, there's actually a lot of work that went into the ZL60, and I have talked to people that have tried to make comparable PCBs for cheaper, and they've pretty consistently been failing at it. So there's obviously something going on there. Either way, I think this is freaking awesome. And one thing I thought was kind of cute is if you look at the renders, the brass weight in the back, these are renders, obviously. They have fingerprints on the brass. How realistic is that?
Yep.
I
mean, if you own some PVD brass, you know all about them fingerprints. Let's be real here.
Yep. Very cool. So colors still unannounced, but I would imagine it's, you know, Rama's standard array of stuff, which is pretty wide and pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that because that's coming soon. All right.
What also may be coming soon is the tease that he's done for this TKL.
Yep, Rama on fire right now. Rama and Kate, because as far as I'm aware, I've been told these are both collaboration projects.
Yes.
So you
similar design going on, except it is the TKL. It does not have a weight on the back, but it has one on the bottom, which is a brass bar that goes all the way across, left to the right, to the left, to the right.
I really like the way this looks, and I really like the weight on this one. I think that I've never seen a weight like that in a keyboard before, so automatically interesting.
This one has been teased in the past. He's been working on this with Originative, and this will be available on Originative as opposed to the 60%, which will be available by Rama himself. But yeah, I mean, it takes the same design cues. They're both in the same series, basically. The TKL-A and the M60-A.
That's just his naming scheme, man.
But it kind of has it going on. Will there be a win keyless option?
That was my very first question to Rama. He said yes.
Awesome possum.
So I like the mirror polish weight section on this page. It says brass, PVD coated, heavy.
Heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah, I mean it looks like a pretty substantial weight if it literally just goes through that entire cutout. So pretty awesome there. I'm really excited about both these boards, honestly. This one's supposed to be coming quite a bit later, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was like kind of an estimated date. Available for pre-order later this year.
Will this have the same features? All-Cal hot swaps, SMD RGBs?
Good question. I don't know. There's
because it does not have any of those specs. Where it has those has those specs on the M60-A, but they're not here for the TKL, and I don't think it's fair to assume that they will be the same because this one is a different collab with Originative.
Yeah, this is also coming significantly later in the year.
Yes.
So
yes,
while it would be cool to have all that information, it's understandable why we do not have all that information yet. This is still quite a ways out. Either way, make sure you keep your eye on Rama.Works for all these updates and teasers and renders and stuff because pretty cool things coming. IMO.
Brian, which one would you get if you had to choose only one of the two?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I could pick. Probably
gun to your head, go.
M60?
Yeah, same.
I don't know, man. I need to see what the TKL will look like with the blockers. Then maybe I can decide. But gun to my head right now, I'm picking the M60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, available for pre-order later this year. Check it out when it becomes available and when they have more information. Speaking of something that we have information for, though, is a current group buy that apparently, well, surprising, just met MLQ. I think last time I checked it wasn't, but it's the Redscarf 2 Plus version E MX0110 60% custom keyboard kit available on Massdrop for.
Oh, wait, you skipped a topic. Go back.
Did I skip a topic? Oh, my bad.
Go back. Back to the FR87.
Rewind.
That's what I said in chat. We'll get to the RS. But
yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But this is the Intercheck for the Elemento Cross zFrontier FR87 half plate and Bluetooth. It works with USB-C, which is the future, and Bluetooth,
the future,
which is named after a famous guy who probably didn't actually have a Bluetooth. But
wait, really? What's really
Harold Bluetooth? I don't know, dude. I did not.
Are you just making this up?
I could be.
Jonathan Bluetooth.
No.
Anyways.
Okay, but okay, this Elemento. Okay, look, we got some RGB LEDs in the side, a mild 6% incline, a very unique look on the back, and cool with the center USB-C port, but even more unique, that half plate.
Are half plates making a comeback?
I don't think they're making a comeback, but I think more people are opening their minds to the possibility of at least using a half plate. I'm excited because I do like half plates.
Yeah, I've still yet to really get down and use one, so I need to step up my game and make sure I do that soon.
We should make aluminum half plates. That's like the real half plate experience.
Is it though?
Yeah, acrylic is too soft, and because you're missing too much in the middle, it can't support itself that well. IMO. Or
okay.
Stainless steel, but that's something we can talk about later. But
yep. Back to the topic on hand. We got a 6-degree incline for this, so pretty well within the range of awesome and IMO.
This is designed by Elemento, a design studio in California. Represent West Coast, best coast. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. What do you think of the design? This is pretty unique. The back.
I think it's cool. They do say the ambient RGB light strips on the side can also be used as the indicator lights, which I assume means for the caps lock and scroll lock.
Interesting. Okay.
Which you couldn't really ever do before unless it was like a GMK board, for example. Because of most other ones, that work with everything else don't really. Oh, except Keymapper. Sorry. 1 second. People entering the house. Okay, but I'm pretty okay with this in terms of design. I'm very curious to see pricing. Typically, zFrontier has been pretty decent about group buy pricing. This will use either a AA or AAA battery for the wireless. So at least they've specified, and we can kind of find those batteries everywhere.
Yeah, like literally everywhere in the States. Cool though. I'm curious to see where this goes and how much it'll be, because this is pretty cool. When I look the picture that's directly from the back, kind of reminds me of like an Alienware product with all these like
edges,
big edges. Yeah,
like how the corners are the two front corners are raised.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of like a spaceship.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's nice. It's sleek. It's different. This is an interest check, obviously, so if you're interested, make sure you show your interest. That's usually how it works. That way they can actually gauge the proper amount of interest, and then they can put this product out, hopefully.
For sure.
Cool stuff. Good on them.
Speaking of something that has passed the interest check, is a group buy for the Zen Keyboard, a split ergonomic board with a few goals in mind. It's basically like a complete ortho ergodox with less thumb keys. So I define it.
Yeah.
It's colorful.
Yeah. Looking at that picture, it makes it look pretty simple. But yeah, it's clean. It's what I really, really, really like here? It's symmetrical.
Yes.
Man, that's hot.
Ooh, man, that's symmetry.
Hot. I get off on symmetry, man.
Is that why you play Zenyatta so much?
Yes, because we walk in harmony.
I mean, have you seen the PCB?
Oh wait, no.
Look at the PCB, dude.
I'm finding. Oh man, that's so cool. That is so freaking cool. I need to get this. Just for the piece. I don't even want the board. I just want the PCBs. Just like So for people that aren't aware of what we're talking about, it's a kind of a reference to Overwatch, a popular team-based shooter game, and Zenyatta, otherwise known as Zen, is a popular character. That's who I play the most right now, and this is kind of an homage to him on the PCB. So very, very, very cool things. I like that a lot.
So unique facts about this. The goal was to be as thin as possible. Most other splits are 13.2 millimeters. This is only 8 millimeters. And then on top of that, you can use whatever feet you choose to make it a little bit thicker, but not by much. Supposedly, quote unquote, layout is designed for gaming. 1.5U pinky keys, ortho alphas, angled thumb keys. This person claims ortholinear is the best for gaming and typing. As someone who has a Prionic, Brian, have you gamed with it yet?
I actually have not gamed with it yet. I feel sad that I have not. I will soon though. I'm using this Rama keyboard a little bit longer as I wrap up my review for it, and then I will switch to attempting to ortho, and probably failing horribly. But it'll be fun.
Yes. No MOQ, which is a really cool thing for group buys. It's just gonna happen. So if you're interested, cool beans. You will have to do SMD soldering yourself.
Yeah, here's the trade-off here,
but it will cost $35 extra if you want this guy to do it for you.
That's not terrible.
I would do that because it's $15 per half. Okay, that's $30, $65 for the
And
case
then $10 shipped to the continental U.S. So not bad. Honestly, not bad. I would consider this.
Yeah. And it's QMK supported, which if you've watched one of our recent videos, you too can learn QMK as easy as a 3-hour video.
You can learn some of QMK in a 3-hour video and probably have your brain fried like me.
Then, last but not least, for our keyboard news is the Melody 96. We covered this back when it was called the YMD 96, but now it is a bit different than it used to be. It's a 96 key. Interesting case.
Huey's absolute favorite layout. He can't get enough of this.
You know, no, I don't like either versions, but if I was gonna choose a 96, I'd choose the one without the arrow keys and just give me like a normal full numpad, because the numpad has arrow keys in it and it has navigation keys. Like, I'm not sure why everyone always opts for the layout with the arrow keys. Man, it looks so much better without them. I know, chat. We skipped the Redscarf. We'll go back to that after this.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. We will get there. Promise. So a couple things of note here. Like Huey said, we have talked about this before when it was an interest check phase, but the group I just started. The design's a little bit different. The last time we talked about it, it was a lot closer to the look of the ZZ96. He's added a bit more angles going on here. The top has a little bit more of a not a fiel. What am I thinking of? What's that top design remind you of? It's gonna drive me nuts now. Anyways, it looks different, so there's that. It's a little bit more unique now. I thought it looked a little bit too much like the ZZ96 before, personally, so a little bit more individuality here now. So I dig that, but looks pretty good. I'm not an absolute lover of 96 key either, like Huey, and I do prefer the non-arrow key layout. I think that looks a lot better. But what do you think of the design here, Huey? Like, setting aside your preference. What do you think?
Setting aside preference. Okay, so what's the angle here? They have an angle? They listed it. I bet you they didn't. No, of course they don't.
People need to do that, man.
Yeah, come on. Like
that should always be a basic information, like for any keyboard nowadays.
But okay, so what do I think? So the point of those sides is to try to draw attention to the keycap set, which works well when it's high profile, like it is as so. The only thing I don't like about that is I wish the corners were sharp, like the Fiel or 5 degree, as opposed to rounded. But that's also a personal preference thing in terms of design. Because if you look below the corners where it's sharp, on the corners towards you, they have those slants, those flat parts in the corners, right? So it goes from flat to a curved piece, as opposed to like curved and curved, or slants, flat, and to So for me, that's a disconnect in the design.
Okay.
Switch top removal is a yay.
So the price is actually not bad here, in my opinion. So there's a couple different kit options. For $150, you get the aluminum top piece, as well as a frosted acrylic bottom, an anodized aluminum plate that does support switch top opening, and a QMK PCB that has RGB underglow, as well as stabilizers and rubber feet and presumably mounting hardware. So you get a full keyboard minus, switches and caps, obviously, for $150. That's pretty good, in my opinion. If you want to pay $50 more, you basically swap out that frosted acrylic bottom and you get an aluminum bottom with a brass weight. So not a bad $50 upgrade, in my opinion. Or you could pay $260 and you basically get all of the options. So it'll come with, both bottoms, weight, etc. Not bad.
The 150 option is kind of in my opinion, like pretty good bet, to be honest. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely the best value there. But I don't think the $200 option is necessarily bad either.
It's not too far. If you're really committed to a 96 key layout and you want just a step above, but you don't want to wait for like a ZZ96 or try to snag that from like the nethers of Mech Market, then base kit number 2.
what other 96 key can you spend $200 on? Get aluminum top, bottom, high profile, brass weight with PCB and plate and stabilizers and everything else.
Without the brass weight, and for $60 more, a Redscarf 96.
Exactly. I think this is by a wide margin the best value 96 key.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Best value. I didn't say best. I said best value.
Ding.
Keywords, man.
Speaking of things of questionable value, this mass drop.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. You see what I did.
This mass drop Redscarf 2 Plus version .E MX0110 60% custom keyboard kit.
I was like, how could you say that? Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, it's even at the lowest price point, we're looking at $290 with free ship to the US. By Redscarf.
Not the cheapest, but there's
it
wow.
uses a USB B port, and there is a hub on the back, so that is unique. People, for some reason, ask for hubs, and
that's
there is
so
one.
weird.
Whether it can power anything, I don't know, but I will give them credit. The hub is done well for the fact that it juts out like the original, M001. Like that's the hunky dory part. Like it's cool that it juts out as opposed to like just putting holes in the side where it's slanted.
Indeed. So it looks like you're going to have two layout options here. One supports the more traditional MX HHKB layout using the 7U spacebar. Other one looks like it actually is more traditional and supports the 6U spacebar. So
yes,
kind of like the Tina C there. You got both those options. Pretty neat.
Could you imagine if they're like, nah, we're not going to include a cable?
It's not that hard to find USB-B to USB-A
It's
cable.
not hard to find, but like no one has one sitting around. Like if any case is like, oh, we're not going to throw one
sitting around.
That's fair. I actually have one sitting around as well. But like most people, like if a group buy was like, oh yeah, we're not going to include a mini USB, everyone's like, yeah, of course you're not. Duh.
Yeah, no, it is very random. I wonder if is there a reason they did that? Like, does it give more power to the USB hub or something?
I don't know.
Because otherwise, what's ever the reason to use USB-B over USB-A or C?
So I like if you look at the picture of the PCB on the back where you see the wires connecting the breakout board to the PCB. It's a standard Redscarf 60% PCB, of which you can still see the original mini USB port still soldered on. And they put jumpers from that port to the breakout board.
Very interesting, man. Interesting choice.
You still see the original port right there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyways, you got lots of color options at least. Not too shabby. Let's see what else you got. You got your plate option, your case color option, plate color option, layout option, and your option to add switches, of course. You're limited to Cherry, MX, and Gateron switches if you're trying to buy them through here. So little lacking there, because why would you buy a Cherry and Gateron when Kale exists right now?
At least you can get a carbon fiber plate.
Nice. Nice Pensu. All right, moving on to what is a better value, Huey?
Yeah, actual value. Novelkeys has had a big restock. If you're keeping up, you probably saw and probably even ordered from Novelkeys recently because they had a big restock. Box Navy, Speed Navy, Chalk Jade Box Black, Speed Burnt Orange, Speed Pale Blue. Awesome. And new sampler pack updates. So, ooh-wee.
Bam. Lots of stuff. A lot of people have been
Navies have been the big boys. People
have
been
been
looking after.
Flying off the shelves, man. People I swear every thread I look in, people are like, when can I get navies again? And Mike's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying as fast as I can. But I don't know, very cool. I'm glad they're a fantastic Switch. So it's awesome that he's having so much success with them.
And not only has he got one restock, he's gonna have another restock basically by today or tomorrow or next week. That also includes Jades, if you want the lighter option as well. Still waiting for him to get me all these force curve graphs so I can do Switch episodes, because
Yeah.
come on, guy. Come on. Force curve graphs are like the way to go.
Send some to Hata.
Yeah. I need Hata to work on, well, hopefully when he has time, work on force curve graphs for me as well.
You need to force Hata to do things. Just kidding. Totally kidding.
Yeah, a lot of things restocked, which is really, really great. Really excited. And I hear he also may have stabilizers back in stock.
Oh yeah, I think he restocked those
yesterday.
Not terribly long ago. Yeah. It's funny if you actually scroll through and read some of these comments. So after this post, like after all the restock, his site just like went down or something.
The good old red hug.
Yeah, like his site just had too much traffic and it just like collapsed. I was like, man, that's a good problem to have. So pretty awesome. Good stuff, of course. And last but not least, Huey, let's talk a little bit about Krytox Grade 0.
Yes, something that we've actually been able to sample ourselves, I think, thanks to samples from Krelbit, who is in charge of SwitchMod keyboards, switchmod.net. He and Binge have been working on a new Switch lubricant, the Tribusys 3204 Krytox Grade 0. It is not a mix like the thin mix that Brian and I like, but a semi-fluid grease. And it doesn't separate. It's easy to apply because it's thick, but can work pretty smooth, at least for the light one.
Yeah, so actually you left out a word here that I think is really important, and it made this thread kind of confusing for me. So it's actually called the Tribusys 3204 Krytox Grade 0 equivalent, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yes. So when Krelbit first sent the lube samples over to Huey and myself, he called them Grade 0 204 and Grade 0 203. So this is leading me to believe that what we received is not exactly what this is, because he says equivalent. So it's supposed to be equivalent to what we received, I'm assuming. So 3204, I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to be any different at all in any way than what we received. But assuming it is, we can't really comment on how good or bad this is, because we may or may not have something else. I have not talked to Krelbit to confirm this yet, nor do I know if
it's equivalent. At any rate, the hope is it is equivalent, and if it is, I recommend, especially for the price, which is kind of the main points Krelbit was always trying to been driving home with this new project. Yeah, he doesn't like people paying $30 for 1 ounce, so instead he wants people to pay a lot less. A lot less. $5 for a 2 to 3 milliliter tube instead of $12 for when you would order one of the mixes. So we'll see. Fill out this interest check form. The more interest you can get, the better it is. Yeah, check it out. He's a pretty cool guy.
We've had him on the show before. He's a memester.
Mm-hmm.
But he is indeed a nice person, and he does want to get that lube value out because he loves to lube.
He loves to lube. He loves quietness.
And he doesn't love how expensive a lot of lubes are.
Yes.
So getting this to like under half of what other lubes cost is kind of his goal, which is pretty awesome. Like the goal isn't to make it like the greatest lube of all time. It's supposed to be like incredible value, basically.
Speaking of things that are let's bring up value again. But let's go to discussion points. Let's talk about things, Brian.
Yeah, how about before we move into those, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors, though. I think now's probably a good time to roll into that.
That was going to be my first discussion point.
What?
Just kidding.
Bullshit.
But on our sponsors, let's start off with the Beast from the East, zFrontier, who is running that wonderful interest check for that FR87 that we talked about earlier. They also sell a variety of key sets on their website. Really cool. A lot of you might have seen their time TKLs have already started shipping from the group buy.
Have they? That's pretty quick.
Yeah, people have been posted on on RMK and through different Discords. They're receiving their time TKLs. Like, they're going out now already.
Very cool. Nice.
Decent turnaround.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, they ship quick, and they're pretty nice folks. So you should definitely check out their things. They also act as proxies in the East for a lot of different group buys and different sets. So maybe if you're interested in that kind of thing, they'd be good people to contact.
Yep, GMK Camping up right now, still available. If you're in the East and you want to check out GMK Camping, but you don't want to pay a bunch of shipping from kono.store, this is the Asian proxy, so you can check that out here. Lots of key sets still in stock, too.
So, speaking of GMK Camping, if you're not in the East but in the West, Brian, where's the best place to get a GMK Camping?
Well, you can also head over to kono.store. They are the American... I guess you probably wouldn't even call it proxy.
No,
anymore,
they're just the source.
If it's based, if it's based in one spot, it's not a proxy, right?
They are the group by vendor.
Yeah, so you head over to kono.store. This is Input Club's storefront. Input Club, obviously another one of our sponsors. And you can head over here. You can get GMK Camping if you're American or whatever. Or lots of other things. You know, they got White Foxes, they got interest checks going on. Hako switches are going to be stocked really soon, like less than a month. And then you can buy some sweet Hakos if you missed out on the pre-order, which you shouldn't have.
There may be a slight delay for the Hakos if you've been keeping up with their Kickstarter campaign for the White Foxes. We know it's affecting the White Foxes and Night Foxes, so there's a slight delay for those who've ordered the Hako switches for those. We are not confirmed whether or not that will affect the Group I for Just switches. So keeping everyone in the know, but they are doing their greatest to keep up. If you have any questions or anything, please do contact their support email, and they're going to be great at getting back to you for that. They're awesome guys. And also, they have Top Clack T-shirts.
Yep.
Which you can see in person because they're hosting the Arizona meetup this weekend on Saturday the 27th. Input Club is being awesome. They're like, hey, we have peeps in Arizona because, like I said, people live in Arizona. And they're like, let's meet with keyboard people. And other keyboard people in Arizona were like, good idea. So there's going to be a nice little hotel room, hotel banquet meeting room thing that's decent size that they'll be renting out, and we'll all be partying and talking about keyboards, and there's going to be a bar from like 4 to 6. Unfortunately, not open bar. Right? That was my first question when I heard about it. But speaking of open bars, you know who would awesome to share an open bar with? Mike from Novelkeys. Brian, what's so awesome about Novelkeys?
Well, I mean, we just talked a little bit about Novelkeys, of course. We just had that huge restock, which is really awesome because a lot of his stuff has been selling like hotcakes.
Hotcakes. I like me some hotcakes.
I do too.
I'd rather take a hot cake over a pancake.
What's the difference? I actually don't. What is a hot cake?
No, I'm just kidding.
I thought a hot cake was a pancake. Before dropped by Novelkeys. so obviously Novelkeys has lots of switches in stock. You can check that out through that link I just posted in the chat. Got about a bazillion switches in stock. Most of the new Kale stuff. I think all the new Kale stuff. He's kind of responsible for a lot of the stuff, including like the speed lines, the pro lines, the the heavy lines of things, and of course the box navies and jades, which have that thicker click bar that Huey and I seem to be liking so much. And other people are agreeing. Box navy selling out like crazy. So just restock those. Pretty cool stuff. You can also, of course, get things like stabilizers and such here. And remember, when you check out, use promo code TOPCLACK, 2 words. And that'll get you 5% off your total order, and leave him a little love note somewhere.
Yes,
because we love him. Mike is so awesome.
Yes.
Anyways, sponsors aside, we appreciate that.
Know who also appreciate, Brian? We appreciate everyone who's subbed to us, everyone who's donated bits, all of you who support Top Clock, whether you're just a casual listener, casual watcher, or you help us in any way. We love you.
I'm really bad with hand hearts. I don't know why I keep trying that.
Do this one. This is the easier one.
Wait.
Curve thumbs. Yeah. See.
Oh, that's a little better.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I am good at things. Anyways, let's move on to our discussion points. Then a little bit after that, we will go into a Q&A like we always do.
Discussion pointerinos. Should I start? Can I go out of order with the easier thing?
Yeah, I think here we have to go out of order if we plan to use.
So, I have something interesting to talk about. I'll talk about it on our Discord. I'm gonna call this topic the breaking and entering of BKE domes. B&E BKE. God, I'm so clever. No, I'm not. But I have BKE lights, BKE heavies, and if you saw my build stream yesterday, I also got some BKE extremes.
Insane in the bed.
And I noticed something really interesting about BKEs. BKE Redux, mind you. I don't know if this is true for actual original BKE domes because they're not in production anymore and all the boards you get them on are old anyway, so it wouldn't really apply. But for BKE Redux, for all three of my switch types, lights, heavies, and extremes, there's something very interesting, which is the break-in period is very short and the difference is very extreme. For example, you take a vintage black, probably the best example people use of like why switches improve when they break in, right? They get worn in. MX Black is really, really smooth, very, very soft to the touch, and nice. BKEs and Topra is different when you wear a Topra switch in. When you wear a Topra switch in, the rubber is more malleable. So I've noticed that very strongly with all my BKEs. Actually, the break-in period for all three of my boards with BKE Reduxes have been approximately 500 to 1,000 words. So 2,500 to 5,000 key presses. Not much at all. Like my extremes I installed last night, by the end of the night before I went to sleep, I'm like, these are not the same feeling that I started with. They're actually 10 to 15 grams lighter from using my finger measurements. I will actually try to get some actual measurements of that in the future. But
yeah, I was about to say it might be worth doing like even just like a ripster test with nickels or whatever.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that
on a fresh dome versus a broken in dome.
For example, my F5 through 8, these are keys like I never use because, come on. I come on, like I don't even use F5 to refresh. I hit my Control R. But these right here, when I type on, these feel like my BKE heavies when they started. And these are worn in, but my extremes up here, like they kind of follow what J-Chan says, like they'll kind of like chase after your fingers. That's what I want this board always to be like. But now that these are worn in the middle, like, I mean, they're still good. Don't get me wrong, they're still good, but there's such a big change between how BKE Reduxes feel initially when you install them and using them after time. Brian, have you noticed that with your BKE domes? I don't know if you've used it often lately.
I haven't. It's been a while since I really used it, but I noticed a little bit of that too. I just kind of chalked it up to the fact that I thought I was just getting used to it.
I thought
so
that too.
I didn't really put that much effort into it, but I can kind of see where you're coming from. When I first installed them and used them, I was like, holy crap, these are insane. And then after like a day of typing, I was like, these feel a lot more reasonable to me. But I don't know. Might be worth testing. I think it's definitely worth testing. Trying to get a little bit more numbers and statistics there.
Because like I can literally feel it between my least used keys, print, screen, scroll. I can pause because LOL, those keys exist still. Actually, no, print screen is useful, but those and like my A key. I was mashing WAC a lot last night because of reasons, but I feel it on all of my boards that use BKE Redux. So it's something that I definitely wanted to bring up, and definitely everyone should know because J-Chan does give ratings for the switches on his sites, and I don't know which ones they are. Brand new or worn in, especially when the wear in time is so short. And the second thing is, unlike all MX style switches for the most part, Kale does it, Cherry does it, they all say rated 50 million, 30 million key presses, etc. Even Topra has theirs at 30 million. BKE Redux, I don't think J-Chen has had these verified for 1 million, 5 million, 30 million. I think he just got these made, tried them out, said adjust this, but I don't think he ever had longevity testing for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
So whether or not these will actually wear in even more, and I'm actually concerned about the rate that they'll wear in with prolonged continued typing over time. So this is something that I'll be monitoring, and kind of a reason that I haven't really put out any content about BKEs yet, because I've started to really notice this.
Zerpocalypse says 1,000 Huey comparisons of keyboards to girls you meet at parties. I would read that so hard. Oh my god. That's awesome. Flux Capacitor asks a question, and actually it's a great question because it brings up a good point to this. He says, so should you go stiffer, or does it wear into the gram weighting? That's a good question. We don't really, I mean, we haven't tested the weighting ourselves.
All I have to go by is my head and what my fingers are telling me. I can't tell you like my 10 gram prediction is like the for sure concrete change. But I know they feel lighter and possibly not as that snap. They still feel way snappier and way more crispier than a stock 55 gram real force. That's for sure. But like I'm not gonna take these domes off just because of that, and chuck them in a bin unless they start getting horrible. But it's something I think everyone should be aware of, and maybe not something everyone's talked about.
Definitely. And the first part of his question was, should you go stiffer? And that's
hard to say. It's actually hard to say.
That could be something to consider. Yeah. So when you go to buy your BK, your Redux, it is something to consider.
I'll say this. If I knew this ahead of time, I would have put heavies in my HHKB instead of lights. But I would still have kept heavies in my Norba Force and extremes. In my Norba Touch and extremes in my Norba Force.
So basically what you're telling me is you need something beyond extremes.
Or so maybe extremes before they're worn in, but continue that feel.
Yeah. Someone's asking if it's a smoother feel.
Let's find out.
So similar to breaking in MX switches, they, in theory, get smoother. Topra is a little bit different because the tactility is all the dome, like your slider isn't going to get smoother by placing new domes in there. So
no, it does not get smooth. This dome, the slider doesn't get smoother.
It shouldn't get smoother because the dome doesn't affect how smooth it is in terms of like friction.
There's much less pop back up, less snappiness to it in the upstroke.
Yeah. Anyways, we spent a lot of time talking about this already, and we still have other things to go over. So, just keep that in mind. Maybe if you're going to buy one, you think maybe you want the heavies, but like maybe they're just slightly too heavy for you, but you haven't tried them yet. Maybe they're actually right on point for you after you break them in theoretically.
Yep.
So, just kind of going with that mindset.
This next topic, we want to hear from all of you. Because I think this is a big thing that people like to meme about, people like to joke about, or even ignore. Brian, what's your keyboard guilty pleasure?
So we came up with these discussion points like literally minutes before we went live today. So I didn't really get too much of a chance to think about this. So I'm going to think about that right now while hopefully chat comes up with some good ones.
I have one that I think a lot of people will be like, but why, Huey? And a lot of you have seen me do this. One of my guilty pleasures is using thin lube on stabs.
It's true. I thought you did it to just trigger people.
It's both, because it's kind of a guilty pleasure in that regard. But
of course. Keyboard guilty pleasures, guys. What do you do that you get crap for, but you absolutely love it, and you're afraid to tell people about it because you don't want to get bashed.
Stabs, yes. Because do you not lube your stabs? They're so no. I lube my stabs. They're smooth. They're really smooth, but they rattle because I use thin lube.
Huey likes rattle.
Apocalypse, bringing way more expensive keyboards than I should to my retail job to use at work.
Okay, that's a good one. You know what? One of my most satisfying typing experiences of all time was during the time I was an enthusiast, and I bought a Cooler Master Quickfire Rapid with, it was a first gen Quickfire Rapid with MX Blues. This board was beat to shit. I paid like $30 for it on Mech Market. I was like, I'll just clean it up. Like $30 for a Quickfire TKL with MX Blues. I was like, done, sign me up. So he sends it to me, right? This board is just beat to shit. Like, stock caps are like really, really, really in awful, terrible condition. There's like hair and like Cheetos and shit, like,
ooh, like good stuff.
Like under the caps, like in this, like, oh, it was freaking awful. So I cleaned it up. I spent like 2 hours cleaning this damn board. It felt incredible. I loved typing on that board so much, and I was like, what? Like, I don't even like MX Blues. Like, I bought this just because it was $30, and like I was bored. Like, I don't normally like MX Blues, but it was so broken in and so well used that I couldn't get enough of it. It was so, like, it was smooth, it was crisp. Like, there was like a nice little tactility there, and it sounded good. I don't know, man. To this day, I don't even tell people about it, because like, it's like a Quickfire Rapid with MX Blues, and like, I should be using like high tier stuff. But no, man, that board, a little bit of my heart will always be with that board.
That one guy is okay to me says typing on keys using a rubber dome board. Some people think Topra is a guilty pleasure. I think it's just one of the best pleasures, to be honest.
Yeah, Topra shouldn't be a guilty pleasure.
Mago says no blockers on a 60%. I think you're referring to like maybe HHKB style boards, and yeah, it's probably not an HHKB you're typing on. So,
Mech Merlin says I secretly like Halo Pandas, assuming he means Holy Pandas. I'm hoping so.
He corrected later. Yeah, Holy Pandas. That's.
Oh, did he?
I'm proud of you, Mark. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, even though he for quite a while he was like, nah, man, it sucks. Like,
he's really trying to push this new Holy Alliance
MX. Now. Yeah.
We'll see.
True.
We'll see if it works. I hope it does. You know, I hope it does, because that's a cheaper alternative.
Donut Cable says I use $2 China stabs. Well, I mean, so do a lot of people, but do you like them more than genuine cherry? Because if so, I'd call that a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that'd be very.
I'd also question a lot of things.
Iridius is bottoming out because Iridius likes the clack noise and likes that bottom out noise. Doesn't want to type properly. And you know what?
Is that really a guilty pleasure though?
I think if he knows better and could type properly, then it is.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, it's not like he's like in the learning phase. He could just like add a second, just switch and type properly. Then I think it would be a guilty pleasure at that point. Not Geo says spending multiple nights a week talking about. You mean every night a week? I think it's every night. It's okay. We're guilty of that too. Godlike Kitten says, I enjoy artisans more than anything else. The feeling of a matching artisan is like no other. You know, I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. If for some reason you feel guilty about it, it's okay, because you can enjoy it for the fact that it is how a lot of people would define as art. And a lot of people just like art without guilt. And I think that's okay.
I was expecting actually embarrassing things here. I don't know. None of these are really embarrassing.
TechFresh loves the colorway for Taihao Lilac.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. I like DCS because it's thin.
Oh, this one definitely counts. Kuji's is he dailies a 60% with the 2U shift, split spacebar, and arrows.
You're just wrong, man. You're just wrong.
What are you doing with your life? Okay.
What's it like to have your opinion be wrong?
Favorite board of that guy is okay to me is a Vermillo's 104 with MX Blues.
Tomusan says, I always talk about using these heavy-ass switches, but low-key, I like stock Telios.
It's weird, because stock Telios aren't super heavy, or, like, but they're, like, a perfect medium where, like, the spring just feels good. Even though it's not super heavy, it's not super light. It's just this weird medium, and it's smooth.
I love Telios.
Yeah,
I really
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Iridius says, revision to my guilty pleasure. I eat Cheetos at my desk at work, and it get all over my VA68M with cherry MS clears, but I don't care. They're scratchy anyways. Yeah.
I like Floss MTG. I enjoy watching the new anime all the key weebs talk about. So, are you caught up on Citrus yet?
Oh, this is actually a good one by Donut Cables, who's obviously known for making cables. Says, also, I don't use any of my own cables. That's pretty funny. I like that. Cool. No, but just finished Blend S.
Nice.
I just finished Blend S not that long ago too. All right. Well, probably time to wrap up that topic. But we do have one more kind of discussion point that's going to get tied into something probably next week.
Yeah.
We just haven't really decided what we want to do.
But we want to do something.
All right, we'll make this really straightforward for now. Keyboard pickup lines. How do you pick up a man or a lady
or Apache attack helicopter
or whatever gender you're trying to pick up? What do you say to them that's keyboard related? That picks up. You don't have to answer now, because next week we're probably going to run a little contest with a little giveaway of something. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll think of something, and we'll give something away to what we believe is the best pickup line. And obviously, it can be whatever you want. It can be super stupid. It can be super cheesy. It can be like actually sweet and efficient. It could be whatever, just whatever. But obviously, Huey and I are going to be the judges here, so catering to us is usually a good thing to do. So just your best keyboard pickup lines, guys, and make sure you save them and bring them next week for the episode.
I'm making the top of the forum right now. It'll be posted on our Discord.
Oh, perfect. Yes. So make sure you join our Discord, of course, below the stream. Our link is always there, and then we'll post this in the announcements channel so you have better access to it. And then we'll make sure you can send them in throughout the week, and we'll choose a winner before next episode. That way we can read it live, and you don't have to watch the next episode to be able to win. Like 3 birds, 1 stone. There we go.
I will say there's only one rule for this contest, which is, other than you can only enter once. It has to be something that we can say on Twitch without being banned.
Yeah, don't get too crazy here, guys. All right. But yes, that will be going up, and now we will also start our Q&A. So if you have questions, we got answers. We'll probably stick around for another 15 or 20 minutes while answering questions before we head out. We're on time for an hour-and-a-half episode, which is pretty good. So yes, bring in the questions, and of course, again, join our Discord, link below the stream, and you can get in on that sweet keyboard pickup line stuff. We need to figure out what to give away for that, but it'll be fun either way. International, obviously, you can enter no matter where you are. As long as we're able to ship you something, you can enter.
So while we wait for questions roll in, I'd like to start with a complaint. I don't like the legends for the Dev TTY.
Okay.
It's like a Fisher Price text. Come on. Too thick. Too big.
Yeah, fair enough. Flux Capacitor says, what are the Twitch rules? Come on, man. Like, it's probably pretty obvious. Like, just don't get too graphic. You don't need to swear a ton. Just try to keep it like PG-13 ish. Obviously, you're trying to pick someone up here, but just use your best judgment. If it seems too out of place, we're probably just not going to read it. You can always just go look at terms of service for Twitch if you're really that curious about it. Anyways, some questions finally rolling in. Zerpocalypse asks, Huey, any chance of something happening as far as SoCal meetups this year?
There may or may not be an interest check posted on Monday.
Wow. All right. That's pretty soon. There you go. Mego Jesus asks, will Brian ever learn to play Medic on Alien Swarm? Medic is clearly a support-based role.
No.
It just like in games like Overwatch and stuff, the support is only as good as the rest of the team. It's not my fault you guys leave your weakest character behind, and then you complain that you want health. It's like quick play all over again. Frostbite is asking, did you get your MT3 caps yet? And if so, have you tried them yet? So he literally just talked about those. Legends aside, how do you actually feel about typing on them?
Let me grab my Hot Pro Topra Keycaps and put them a little side by side Reno. Look at that. And then look at this down the line. Similar but different. How do they feel typing? They feel the sculpt looks nice. I don't have any big complaints in terms of typing. If you've watched my HHKB review I put out quite a while ago on how Hypro kind of changes how it makes you type for Topra Hypro by making you kind of not be lazy with your fingers and pick them up a bit more. These MT3 profiles kind of have a similar feeling where I don't mind picking my fingers up for these, unlike the E-Drugs mix where like I felt like dragging them but never finding the edges. So far so good. I wish these were blanks or the legends were better. That's my biggest complaint at the moment though, off the bat.
Fair enough. All right. HHKB for Life asks, what do you think about MX locking switches, and is it possible to get the offset LED to work in a standard PCB? I'm familiar with an MX locking switch. I've never personally put one on my own board, so I don't. Is the LED in a different spot, I guess?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Topra left shift, where like built into the switch there's a little slot for LED. I mean, technically, if you put an LED there and you have some very small wires, you can run it to the pads.
Yeah, absolutely. Just use like some insulated wire and solder one end of the wire to each one of the LED pins, and then solder it into the LED holes. Pretty simple. You can always extend stuff by just running wires, like always. So, pretty simple. Hong Kong 2002 asks, what lube do you use for tactile switches? I changed up. I don't really lube a lot of tactile switches. I haven't in a while, except for my Holy Pandas. I still kind of lean towards thinner lubes and thinner blends because I kind of like the experience that gives me. I don't usually like to feel the lube itself. I just want the switch to be smoother. And thinner lubes help accomplish that a little bit better. What about you, Hugh? Do you have an answer for that, or do you just agree?
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the same boat.
J Jansen 1 asks, is Topra worth the money in both of your opinions?
Yes.
I will say yes, but it also depends a little bit. It's like, for instance, I don't know if I would want to pay like $200 for an HHKB that I never modded.
I would not.
Because like the stock HHKB experience is really not that great, but it takes really well to things like lube, to things like dome swaps, and to things like silencing. So I think the HHKB has a ton of potential, but I wouldn't want to pay like $180 or $200 or $220 for a stock HHKB. On the other hand,
and buy Real Force.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say it. On the other hand, I would be very okay putting like $200 towards a 55 gram Real Force, which does also take well to modding, like all Topra does, but it also feels good stock. Like it's just a great board. So, overall, yes, I think Topra's worth it, but there's some asterisks there too, depending on who you are.
Should I put silencing rings on my Norba Touch?
Silencing rings on your Norba Touch?
I have the KBD silencing rings. I could.
Have you tried them yet?
No, I haven't. My Norba Touch is like one of my loudest Topra boards, even with these MP. No matter what keycaps I put on, but it's also probably because of the sliders as well. Yeah,
the domes, the BKE domes definitely up the noise a little bit, so might be nice to put the rings on them, see how they are. Zerpocalypse is asking a favorite Overwatch League team. New York Excelsior for me, my man. I'm on that Pine train. I've always been a fan of Sabielby, but Pine has been watching. I could watch Pine play McCree on Ilios, like, for an entire day straight, and I would be really, really happy about it.
They may not be the best team, but they're my team, LA Gladiators.
All right, not bad, not bad. Macron says, I want to hear about the Holy Alliance. So I think he was asking me about this yesterday. That's a Halo stem in an Aliaz housing, which is probably not going to turn out as great as you think. I don't know, man. I have like such a love-hate relationship with the fact that everyone is just mixing and matching switches these days. Because it's like, it's so hard to keep up with stuff. And like, there's just so much going on. Because there's so many switches already on the market, and people are like, oh, you take, the top from this, and the stem from this, and the spring from this, and the bottom from this, and you put all 3 or 4 or 5 of these different parts together, and you lube it, and you have like, insert like really obscure title here. And it's like, man, it just can't, like, they can't all be like good, right?
I don't mind because most of them aren't good. That's kind of the truth. But I don't mind because I think it gets people into the hobby. It gets people deeper into the hobby. You have to be already in the hobby to do it, but it gets you deeper into the hobby because it gets people to start questioning the choices that went into how a switch is made and the components and how they all fit together. Because usually with most manufacturers, there is a rhyme to their reason.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's definitely good. Obviously, people DIYing things and trying new things, always good. I just want to complain about it because it gets annoying because so many people are like, "Have you tried this?" And like they say like a name, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And they're like, "Oh, it's when you do this and this and this with a switch." And I'm like, I haven't tried that. No, I'm sorry. Like, I haven't tried, like, so many obscure things, man. Anyway, sorry to rant about that. Moving on a little bit. TechFresh is asking, any news on when 2018 Real Force will be available?
2018. I'm sorry, but no clue.
It's a really, really good guess. I don't know. I have no idea. Gio is asking, wasn't there supposed to be Top Clack exclusive Rama news, or did I just not pick up on it? It kind of was. It's like, it's public news that he hadn't like said anything about, which is why I was asking him. I basically asked him for a more finite price point on the M60, which he gave me. He said more like 320 to 350 as opposed to 300 to 400. So hopefully that'll be a little bit more true. And he also, which wasn't, I don't think it's been public yet, but I asked if the TKL was going to have a win keyless option, and he did say yes. So there is that. There might have been something else too, but I'm trying to scroll through our chat to find it, and I apologize for that. Anyways, HHKB for Life asks, what is the difference between 6063 aluminum and standard aluminum? What do you mean by standard?
I mean, every aluminum has, a rating attached, a number attached.
Yeah. Actually, if you go back and watch the VOD of our episode with King Nesty, he talked quite a bit about differences in aluminum and the actual differences between them. The TLDR is that I forgot. It's either the higher the number or the lower the number, the softer the aluminum.
So typically for most products, you'll see 6061, 6063, 7001, and 7075. At least, well, in my experience of keyboards and of being a cyclist, those are the 4 most common aluminums I've dealt with. So.
Yeah. So it's just how soft or how hard it is, basically. I don't mean that sexually. Iridia says grade 0 for tactile switches. Yeah, grade 0 is a grease, so it's by default it's a little bit thicker.
It'll work.
It'll definitely work. There's nothing wrong with the grade 0. It's just I prefer thinner.
Same.
That guy is okay to me. He says London Spitfire for the win. London Spitfire is a very strong team, but I gotta stay with New York. It's got lots of my favorite players on it. I think no more questions. Yeah, looks like we're out of questions. Right on time, basically, too.
Yeah, don't forget, though, we're doing our new contest. The form is almost done. The form will be posted tonight. I mean, what else do I need?
In the announcements channel.
Discord, Twitch username, best pickup line. Is there anything else?
Probably not. I mean, eventually we'll need their shipping info, but we can get that later.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna post it then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's business. It's business time.
Are you posting it in Twitch chat?
No, in Top Clack announcements. So if you're not in Top Clack Discord, you should go below and join our awesome Discord where you can hang out with us and other pretty cool people.
Yep. Just like a lot of our other more recent giveaways, you will have to be in our Discord to win. That is where we will be messaging you and letting you know if you won. So if we can't message you there, then it's just not going to work. So make sure you join our Discord. That's pretty much the only requirement. We will ship worldwide. So I'm getting much more used to shipping out tons and tons of international packages because I've had to do it so much for Top Clack already.
Pick up. Anything else, anyone?
Yeah, if anybody have any last minute questions before we take off, I'll leave in just a couple minutes here. While you guys might be thinking of more questions, make sure you, like we've been saying this whole time, join our Discord below the stream. There's a link to that there. Also, make sure you join our official YouTube. Subscribe there. We've had some decent growth on our YouTube channel, but it can always keep going. Of course, we have more than just Top Clack VODs lately. We have all sorts of new things. Huey's got the Witch Switch series, which has been going really well. We got other series coming. We got typing videos and keyboard chores, VODs, etc. So make sure you subscribe there. Helps us out a lot.
Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you. Well, if you're in Arizona, I will see you this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Make sure if you're there, you give Huey a kiss.
I accept kisses anywhere on me.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Right?
Why am I not going to Arizona now? What's going on?
So if you're down to clown, you can catch me at the open bar from 4 to 6 at the meetup.
And then you catch him at other bars after that.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Special thanks to our sponsors. Special thanks to everyone who's donated, whether it's a sub, whether it's a bit. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll catch you next week at our normal time, 6 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday. See you in Is it going to be February next? Yeah, see you in February.
Johnny.